What if I told you that before 1440, if you wanted to own a Bible, you'd need to pay the equivalent of a house? One book, one single book would cost you everything you owned. And here's the crazy part. It would take a monk an entire year to copy just that one book by hand, every single word. But then, a broke German goldsmith with a gambling problem made a machine that accidentally destroyed the most powerful institution on Earth. This is the story of how the book went from the rarest treasure in the world to something you can buy for $3. And trust me, the people in power did not want this to happen. Let's go back to the year 1000. Back then, books weren't things you owned. They were weapons of power. The Catholic Church controlled almost every book in Europe. If you wanted to read the Bible, too bad. Only priests could read it, in Latin, a language most people didn't even speak. Why? Because knowledge was control. If people could read for themselves, they might start asking dangerous questions, like, wait, does the Pope actually have a hotline to God? Each book was copied by hand in scriptoriums, basically medieval copy rooms, where monks would spend decades reproducing texts letter by letter. One mistake, start over. But here's where it gets interesting, because across the world in China, someone had already solved this problem 600 years earlier. Block printing, carving entire pages into wooden blocks, fast, efficient, revolutionary. So why didn't Europe have this? Stick around, because the answer involves greed, religious panic, and one man's desperate need for money.
Meet Johannes Gutenberg, a failed businessman, a terrible manager, drowning in debt. But he had one idea that would change human history: movable type. Instead of carving whole pages, what if you made individual metal letters that you could rearrange? Print one page 1,000 times, then rearrange the letters for the next page. In 1440, Gutenberg built the printing press, and by 1455, he printed 180 copies of the Bible. Here's the math that terrified the church. One monk, 1 year, one Bible. One press, 1 year, 3,000 Bibles. Suddenly, books weren't rare anymore. Prices collapsed. Ideas spread like wildfire. Martin Luther's 95 Theses, the document that started the Protestant Reformation, printed and distributed across Europe in 2 weeks. The church tried to ban printing presses. They burned books. They executed printers. But it was too late. You can't uninvent an idea. Within 50 years of Gutenberg's press, there were over 20 million books in Europe. Universities exploded. Science accelerated. The Renaissance happened. Think about it. Without the printing press, there's no mass education, no newspapers, no scientific journals, no novels, no Harry Potter, no Declaration of Independence. The book became the first true mass medium, and it democratized knowledge for the first time in human history. Today, we print over 2 billion books every year worldwide, from that one broke goldsmith's machine. But here's my question for you. If the printing press gave power to the people by spreading knowledge, is the internet doing the same thing, or has it just made it easier to spread lies? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you think. And if you want more stories about the inventions that accidentally changed the world and revolution, hit subscribe.